We will call this meeting to order. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're welcome. Can you get back? All right, this meeting is called to order. It's a regular city commission meeting. And we're going to have a moment of silence for the invocation. And let us stand, please. Now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now to approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
There'll be a second.
I'll second that.
The agenda has been moved to second. All in favor?
So if I can have public comment regarding your motion?
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. Brian Bisher, for the record, thank you, Mayor, and congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Commissioner Fletcher. And hi, everybody. Sorry. I'm sure you've missed me as I've been out of town for the last several months, so actually month and a half. So I just want to follow up and see if we can add something to the agenda tonight, and whether that requires voting procedures you've done in the past or what have you. But I think it's important that the commission follow up on Commissioner Williams' motion of February 10th, 2025, to have the city attorney seek an outside firm to investigate the city's planning department resigning. And as we continue to see items pushed through to the Planning and Zoning Board, it seems fit, the feedback received in the open letter from one of the planners who resigned, that the clock is ticking and applicants are being interviewed, and the city needs to complete the investigation to give the citizens assurances there's no undue outside influence on the city or city management. So I would encourage the commissioners to waive procedure, add this to tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. I would like to, I guess, echo, for lack of a better word right in the moment, what was just spoken about the investigation of the planning department. And even though the city manager has made an announcement at the previous meeting that he's received multiple applications, which, full disclosure, I put in a public records request for those applications, you owe it to the citizens to find out what happened. I mean, remember, you all work, the organizational chart in the city, the people on the top, the box on the top is the citizens. Next, it's you. Then it's the city manager and on down the city attorney on the outside. So short statement, you all work for us. The staff all works for the public. You're all paid for with our money. And so you owe it to the public to get to the bottom or the middle or the top, wherever it is. We deserve to have understanding and full disclosure and transparency of what happened. That letter is not gone. And what that letter represents is not over. It happened. And it's important to not just erase it and kick it under a rug because the city manager says he's accepting, they've received applications. I mean, I want to know it's not going to happen again. And outside undue influences, you guys, it's serious. And Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Brown, you were adamant. You wanted transparency and to get into the bottom of it. And I'm calling on you to step up and discuss this tonight, put it on the agenda. If it's not on this agenda added, which you have the right to do at this point, you can add things to the agenda, then motion to add it to the next agenda for a full report of what's going on or what has happened. Also, Rule 30 of your rules and procedures, commission appointments to boards and committees. Members of the city commission serve on various boards and committees. This should have been on your agenda already for assignment to various boards, and it brought it to my attention and reminded me because Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Williams noted that she is now on the TDC board. How did she get on there? Did you guys appoint her to that board? So all the committee and board assignments that are on North Florida Regional Planning Council, the various boards around that you guys serve on, those are not given. They are not just, you don't just get to have them. It's assigned by this board as a whole of who wants to serve on what committee and board. So I would like to know how that did happen, how Commissioner Williams was on the TDC board, if she would like to share that with us. But that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I applied to be on the TDC board, and it was voted on by the county commission. It was publicly known by the county commission, posted that position was open, and I applied.
Is there any more comments?
There we go. I was looking over the meeting minutes for the last one. If I can get on here. And I feel like they were kind of lackluster in showing the support of the commission to the two items on there regarding, where is it? The National Poetry Month and the Peace Officers Memorial Day proclamation. I feel like the minutes that on there were not reflective of the members of this commission in recognizing those individuals and our law enforcement. So I would like to have those minutes pulled off from the consent agenda and or something, but to go back and adjust that so it reflects the values of this commission properly. I guess I would ask the city manager, also the city clerk, what we can do to address that.
Mr. Mayor, I probably need to have a discussion on exactly what the specifics are, but the minutes reflect what was said at the meeting. But we can certainly we can more go into more depth with that for sure.
Mr. Mayor, just to clarify, the item C on there says Deputy Clerk Williams introduced the proclamation. City Attorney Rush read the proclamation. Alachua County Poet Laureate Stanley Richardson thanked the commissioner. I think it ignored some of the statements made by this commission.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Fletcher, typically the minutes are not obviously verbatim, and it's not required in any way for the minutes to get that detailed. I'm speaking just because the Poetry Month was I instigated that proclamation, so I appreciate the fact that you are, bringing up that you'd like to see the positive comments that were made for both proclamations, which is great. It's not required by statute to do that in minutes. I don't know. If we did it for them, we'd have to do it for the entire minutes, and then we don't do verbatim minutes, so.
Okay, so Mr. Mayor, on this, it wasn't a verbatim, because if you look at item A on that, it explicitly mentions which commissioners, along with the city manager, spoke in adoration of our past mayor, Mr. Corper. So I was just confused if there was something special that allowed the discrepancy on that. So I was a bit confused. Thank you.
Is there any more comments from the city, citizens? If not, we'll move to special presentation.
Mr. Mayor, I think we had a first and a second, and then public comment, and we need a vote.
All right. This motion,
No, we already have a motion.
Right, but he's looking at the
we're going to vote on the approval of this. Commissioner Fletcher.
Question, Mr. Mayor, question for the city attorney. Does this alter anything on the past meeting minutes as being a consent agenda by voting aye for this? I know we're to pass.
Yes, if you want to remove something from the consent agenda, I think it needs to be voted on by the commission to remove it from the consent agenda.
Okay, so I would have to make a motion to have it removed.
That is correct.
Okay. So in the interest of the public, what I would like for the city manager in the future is to make sure that those presentations are fairly representative, and I will vote A just to expedite this meeting.
Mr. Mayor, duly noted.
So,
Commissioner Ringerson, aye.
Commissioner Ringenson,
Sorry, aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
I'm going to vote aye, but how do we handle the request from the citizens?
Well, there would have needed to be a motion and a second if you wanted to do something with that from this commission.
In addition to the motion that was made?
Yes, because that person is not a member of this board, and he really cannot put a motion on the floor. The motion has to be made.
No. I'm not saying he would put a motion on the floor. I know better. I'm saying he asked for items to be considered in this meeting.
Yes, and what I'm saying is there would have to be a motion from a commission member and a second, and then a vote on that if you wanted to add it to the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, just to, for Vice Mayor Greenbrown, you may also submit an agenda item to the city manager before 12 p.m. on Tuesday before the agenda is published if you would like to add something then.
I understand that, thank you. I'm speaking of the gentleman that walked up and asked if we could add the item to the agenda tonight. So with that, I would like to move that we add his agenda item, which I wrote notes. I believe it was the investigation, to our agenda for consideration.
Okay, I'm sorry, I did not catch exactly what you said the agenda item was going to be. I'm sorry.
Could you come up, sir, and tell us what your item is so we're clear?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Brian Bisher. So my request is to revisit Commissioner Williams' motion from February 10th, 2025, to have the City Council solicit outside services to investigate the planners leaving.
So, do I need to say all of that, or you got it?
If you can say that that is your motion, that is fine, because we just heard it.
So moved.
Oh, do we need a second on that? Okay, I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Now, we'll open up the floor for comments. Any of our commissioners want to comment on the motion?
Mr. Mayor, are you asking if any of the commissioners have a comment on this?
Yeah.
Yes, I guess I will. What we've looked at in the past is, or what we've heard in the past is there was issues to the point where three high-level, very experienced people left our department all at once. We're talking decades of experience, including a director-level position. And what we've been seeing since then is no information, right? We're going to fill these positions, but what I'm concerned about is how do you have people who have 17, almost 20 years of experience, they know the game, they've been here in the city for so long, and they felt too pressured that they decided that it was in their best interest to leave. And I say too pressured because I'm basing it off of one of the planners' open letters, something that we should have already known why they left, right? I should be able to say why they left here. But what we're going to see now is we're going to see people who have probably less experience, definitely less experience with our city and our stuff, and we're going to put them in the possibly what it seems like is the same exact position. So how do we know we're not going to be dealing with the same resignations, 6 months down the line, or we're going to see things possibly come through that maybe should not have come down? And my concern is we talk about moving forward, but we can't move forward in the right direction if we don't know where we've been, right? And so what I'd like the commission to really think is how can we assure the public that we are doing the best we can to address these problems if we're not addressing these problems? Because we need to address this. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. We all know it, okay? And we need to make sure that this city is on their A game. And right now, I don't feel we're at that point, but we need to be. And so I would encourage the commission to take a serious thought on if there is no wrongdoing, if this is all hearsay, right? We can find that out. That's what we're going to learn. But until then, it's the little whispers of saying these rumors and that stuff, and we can't validate it. I cannot go and tell a person who comes up to me in the street and say, why'd our planner leaves? I don't know. That's all I can give them. And so to me, we need to be able to answer that question. And I think even though it's been a while, right? This happened in February. I think we still have the time to right our ship on this. And so I would really encourage the commissioners to think about how we strive to reach transparency and accountability by acknowledging it.
Okay, now we're still at a motion and a second, and you've opened it for public comments, so now you need to take a roll call vote.
Can I say something?
Oh, absolutely.
So originally, the motion and some of the talk on that night, February 10th, I think you said it was not necessarily the word investigation. It was to have them be able to talk to an exit person on open communication, not within the city. Moving prior to that, some of us did have conversations with planners, and even with the open letter, that information was not brought to our attention. So to answer Mr. Fletcher, people on the street, that come up and talk to us, I think I would have felt comfortable answering some of those things. Tonight, you're asking us to now add something back to the agenda that I'm not sure I'm prepared to vote on. To reopen up this whole thing again, is I guess I'm trying to get an understanding, to just add it to the agenda item for us to just talk about this again?
Well, I think that the motion is to put this on the agenda exactly where it was going to go. What I wrote down was to revisit the motion from February 10th to have the city attorney look into the resignation of the planners. I think exactly what you were going to do would be what you would discuss if this item is put on the agenda. It's not on the agenda right now.
Got it.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to refer back to the meeting minutes at that meeting. It was actually Commissioner Williams who moved to direct the city attorney to bring back suggestions for outside attorneys to hold an independent investigation.
Okay, again, so we have the motion is here. There's a motion and a second. You need to, and it's to add something to the agenda, which would be an agenda item C, if the majority of the commission votes to do that. If they do, then that item would come up, and then there would be the discussion about exactly what, if anything, there's going to be direction to do.
I believe we did already do public comments. I think it is roll call now, I think.
Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
No.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown,
Aye.
as Mayor, I vote aye.
Then, Mr. Mayor, based on that vote, is it your wish that this would be put as agenda item C under section 5? Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, since you put together the agenda, since this has been approved,
It needs to be item C under agenda items.
thank you. Okay, we are now back to doing the vote to approve the agenda with the addition.
Mr. Mayor, I think you might need an amended motion for that now. Because I think you were, made a motion
agree.
to approve the agenda the way it was.
I agree. I don't remember who made the original motion. So, okay. Then you would need your, rescind yours, and you would rescind your second. And then we'll
I will rescind my motion to approve the agenda.
Okey doke, rescind.
Okay.
And I motion to approve the agenda with adding to the agenda item C on the planning and zoning investigation.
Second.
So do we have any comments? Bear with me. So, yeah. So we will move to a vote on this motion, and I'll start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Then I go to Commissioner Ringerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
I disagree with the amendment, so I vote no.
Vice Mayor,
Aye.
and as Mayor, I vote aye. Now we will move on to a motion to approve the proposal, ordinance and resolution by title only. Special presentation. Oh,
So moved.
Second.
it's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we will move to our special presentation. A. Oh, boy, this is a word. Academy Student Artist Presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, Madam City Attorney Diane Amendola, Assistant Deputy City Clerk. Before our joint County City Commission meeting this evening, Ms. Christina Danka, who is the representative from Bhaktivedanta Academy, approached us and said that they had conflicting appointment with their students, and so we already gave them their certificates and artwork back, so this item will not be presented this evening.
Thank you. We'll move to special presentation B. Florida League City Hometown Health Aware.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the Commission, City Attorney, and City Manager. I'm Cap Wilson with City Staff, And I'm pleased this evening to bring before you two representatives of our group health benefits carrier. That's Florida Municipal Insurance Trust, which is the insurance arm of the League of Cities. We have, for 3 years, been awarded the Hometown Health Award, and the two representatives are here to provide us with the fourth receipt of that award and a nice bonus this year. Lindsay Fisher is the FMIT Hometown Health Manager, and standing behind me is Gwen Mahabir. I'm sorry. I can't read my own writing, but they will go forward at this point. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Cap. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners, City Attorney, City Manager. Like Cap said, my name is Lindsay Fisher. I'm the Health Marketing Manager for the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust. And this is Gwen Mahabir. She's the Hometown Health Manager. The city has been with FMIT, Group Health, for over 10 years now. You guys have been a very strong partner of ours. And over the past few years, you've really gotten engaged in our wellness program. And so tonight, we are here to present the city a $25,000 check for being a Hometown Health Award recipient this year. This award is available to all of our members across the state of Florida, so everyone that is in our health pool is able to earn this award, and only 2 municipalities received the award this past year, with Alachua being one of them. To receive this award, the municipality needs to successfully renew with the FMIT come at your renewal time on October 1. The medical loss ratio must be 80% or lower. I'm not going to really go into the weeds with that, but 80% is really, really good when you're talking about medical claims and stuff like that. You must be an active participant in the Hometown Health Wellness Program. So that means in our Tier 1 part, you need to have at least 50% of your employees who are enrolled in the medical plan participate in our on-site screening event that the girls come out and do and complete the health assessment. And then Tier 2, which is employees participating in our wellness challenges or telephonic coaching, extra things to do to better their wellness. You need 25% of your employees to do that. So Alachua this past year, you guys did have a loss ratio below 80%. You successfully renewed with FMIT. In the Tier 1 program, you had 65% of your employees participate. And then in Tier 2, which is awesome, you had 34% participate in that. That is a huge testament to your risk team. So Anne-Marie, Cap, your HR team, for really pushing this out and getting your employees to participate. And then I am going to actually turn it over to Gwen real quick.
Mine's going to be brief. I am very thankful for the opportunity to have partnered with you all for the last decade. I've been with you from the very beginning, so I've gone to see just how you guys have ramped up participation, getting the juices flowing when it comes to like, hey, what are some creative ways to make sure our employees are participating in this wellness program that's available? Just to echo what Lindsay said, Anne-Marie, Cap, Wesley, your HR team here, you won't receive these kind of numbers without their hard work. I mean, it definitely takes a lot of time, energy, sometimes twisting arms. Hey guys, come out to the health screening. And then like, well, I'm working with a doctor. It's not about you already have a physician. It's making sure you know about the other tools and resources that are embedded into the health insurance program at FMIT, and how they can best utilize those tools and resources to not only help themselves, but also help their family members as well. And I say this to every group that receives this award, and I really mean it from the heart. We have to take care of our employees. They are the ones that make sure, the city has a heartbeat, and we want them to give them, make sure they put their best foot forward every single day when they come out to the job site. If they're not feeling well, their job and everything will definitely suffer because of that. And, I want to say again, the leadership team here, especially with the risk management team, have not only just checked a box when it comes to having a wellness program in place, but make sure that they understand that, hey guys, you have to take care of you, At the end of the day, people may resign from a position, things happen, but we want to make sure everything is left in great hands and that the next person that's coming in line knows, hey, you also be taken care of just like the people that were right in front of you. So again, thank you so much for your participation in our wellness program, and I'm looking forward to many more years of being a valued partner of you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So could we get a picture with all of you down here? And then also the HR team and Cap.
Is there any chance we could go? Keep going. A little bit more.
Mr. Mayor, before the FMIT crew gets out of here, I would like to thank Lindsay and Gwen for their patience, for sticking through the first meeting and making it to their presentation. Also, hats off to our HR and compliance and risk management team, Tara, Lisa, Wes, where are they? Anne-Marie, Cap. I know her as Barbara, but her name is Elizabeth. So, but just hats off. Again, continued success, and we really appreciate FMIT, and we appreciate staff's effort to get these things going. Thank you.
We move on to a special presentation, C, Casa, something. Watershed flood.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. City Manager, Madam City Attorney, Diane Amendola, Assistant Deputy City Clerk. Mary Diaz from Swanee River Management District is here to present an invitation to a meeting that's going to be held on July 1st, 2025 in Bronson. The meeting's intent is to discuss flood map changes in the Wakasasa watershed. Citizens will be able to view the proposed maps and provide comments at this meeting. Mary?
And if you need to, there's a pointer if you need it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'm very grateful to be here today to make this special invitation. Before I begin on the Wakasasa, I do want to take this opportunity to make a reminder on a beat map, a milestone that's coming. So I'll read the DEP statement word for word, and then we'll move on to the Wakasasa. So responsible entities must submit a sufficient list of additional projects and management strategies to DEP by January 14, 2026 to be compliant with the upcoming BMAP milestone or be subject to further department enforcement. If any lead entity is unable to submit a sufficient project list, then specific project identification efforts must be submitted by January 14th, 2026. These responsible entities must submit project identification efforts whose purpose and timelines will provide projects to meet the 5-year milestone. These efforts create a compliance schedule that must reflect the urgency of defining, funding, and implementing projects to meet the upcoming and future milestones. These planning efforts are ineligible for BMAP credits themselves, but are necessary to demonstrate that additional eligible management actions will be forthcoming and BMAP compliance will be achieved. So in short, the Department of Environmental Protection has a deadline of January 14, 2026 to submit projects that benefit the Base Management Action Plan. So I just wanted to take this opportunity for that outreach. So let's go on to the Wakasasa River. So like she introduced me, Mary Diaz, I'm a professional engineer at the Suwannee River Water Management District up in Live Oak. And the district is a cooperating technical partner with FEMA. And every so often we remap the basins in our district. And it's time for the Wakasasa. This is the basin for the Wakasasa. That is the study that is encompassed. It incorporates areas in Alachua County, Gilchrist County, and Levy County. And so the city of Alachua is part of that basin, and so that's why I'm here to invite you and the residents. The project timeline, it started with the discovery meeting in July 2021. That's when we came to the city and said, what areas should we focus this new mapping effort? And based on that input, we went into the modeling and hired a consultant to do all the heavy lifting. And we're now at the flood risk review meeting, which had been scheduled for April. And due to some pause in our CTP work in March and April, we had to push it to July 1st. And so we had made that invitation prior for the April meeting, but we had to push it. I just wanted to clarify that. The study results. So the intent of this flood risk review meeting is to get input from you and the residents on these maps. FEMA requires only community officials to review the maps, but the district sees the value of citizens' review of the maps before going preliminary. If you remember, a couple of years ago, we did the Santa Fe Basin, and we came here, and actually one of those flood risk review meetings that we held was in this room, and we got over 1,000 comments, and we had to go back and change the way we did the Santa Fe map. So it's crucial to get as from the city commissioners and the city officials comments, but it's also crucial to the district sees it's crucial to receive residents comments as well, because they know the area. They've been here the longest. We can do a model and make these assumptions, and until somebody that's lived there 40 years can tell us what they've seen, those are the kind of inputs. So this flood risk review meeting is a perfect opportunity to provide those comments, because the moment those maps go preliminary, in order to comment on these maps, you need engineering backup. So the only moment where we'll just take a comment like, I've lived here 40 years, it never floods, I don't think this map is accurate, is at this flood risk review meeting. If those comments are not received in that period, then when you want to comment on them again, you would need some engineering backup. So this is, again, that's the flooded area, the study area. I'll go into the definition of the map. So this is kind of an example of an area and the changes to expect. Any member of the public can go to these meetings, to this meeting, and we'll actually have district staff and the consultant that did the maps available to do one-on-one discussions of these maps. So we'll have our laptop set up, and you can come in and show me where you live, and we can look at what the changes are going to look like for your specific property, and we can explain what those changes mean. And so this is another example, and it's not clear to see, but the blue is the A zone, the 1% chance annual flood, or what it was called before, 100-year flood zone. The purple is the X zone, which is the what was before called the outside of the flood zone, but they want to call it about high risk and low risk. So they've moved away. FEMA has moved away from calling it in flood zone or non-flood zone. It's just lower risk or high risk. And then there's a gray that it's hard to tell, but that's what we call the X shaded, and that's the 0.2%. And that is what was used to be called 500-year flood zone. So you'll be able to see that for all your maps. And actually, it's available. I've got a few slides. I'll show you where. So these are the study results by community, but these are buildings. So these are in the city of Alachua. You can see there's no buildings that have a change from low or moderate to high. The reason this is relevant is because if you have a federally backed mortgage, they'll make you get flood insurance if your building is in that flood zone. So that's why it's more important to show this chart. But I wouldn't think that, it's zero, so I'm not going to come to this meeting. Just so you know, properties with a change in Alachua County is around 3,000. So, your building might not be in flood zone, but there may be a change in your property that you may want to be aware, because maybe you were thinking about putting a building there, or just to know. So this is for the other communities. So right now we have a virtual meeting room, and you can find it at the srwmdfloodreport.com/virtual. I do have some handouts with a QR code that'll take you to that site if you want them. In that virtual tour today, right now, we already have the meeting presentations. It's a slideshow that goes into detail about the modeling and how all of that was done, what the next steps are, and what we're going to present at the meeting. We have a watershed dashboard that just gives information about each county and community. And we have who to contact at FEMA, at the district, who our consultant is. We have the GIS data that we produced based on this mapping effort is available there on that same virtual tour to download. And most importantly, it's got the map where you can look at the changes. So if you go into the presentation that we have, and it says flood risk review presentation, and you scroll, there's going to be a screen that says how to look at the maps. And it's important for you to look at the slides, again, if you're not going to come to the meeting, and so that you understand what to look for. And in that map, there'll be the opportunity to actually provide a comment. So if you cannot come to the meeting, you can still look at the maps and you can still circle your property and say, I don't think this area floods, or I think this area floods and you guys missed it, or, it doesn't show that the flood zone connects in this road. We think that there's a culvert here, and so on. So those are the things that you'll be able to comment on our website. And also, if you come to the meeting personally, I'll take your comment and I'll put it in. And so that's available at that website. It's a really cool virtual room. You can walk around and look at different booths. And the information is there right now. So if you wanted to look at what the changes would look like in your property, I would certainly encourage you to go look at that. The meeting will be held in Bronson, where they hold their town council meetings at the Dogan Cub Municipal Building in Bronson on July 1st. And it'll start at 5 p.m. So we'll be there for a while. If it'll take you a while after work to get there, we'll be there. Usually they end about 7, but we don't leave if there's still people in the room. So that's what I'm here to invite. Thank you for the opportunity to share this information. I hope I expressed the importance of this meeting. It's the opportunity to provide comments just based on your knowledge and not having to go hire a consultant to back you up on your statements on these maps. So again, city officials, commissioners, and residents are encouraged to come. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, may I ask?
Yes, you may.
I thank you for sitting through the Joint Committee Commission and talking about this. I know you guys, especially with dealing with the B maps, you guys, you're put in a hard position with talking with the public and their concerns. So I definitely respect your guys' position on that. This is for the Wakasasa River. Do you, and I was trying to find out on this, is that in a large portion of where our city boundaries are?
Let's see. No, not, and I don't have a zoomed in. Let's see where. So Alachua County, Alachua City of Alachua, where is it? Somewhere over here or up there? Up, yeah. Just barely outside, barely in it, just barely in it.
Okay. Because I know we're growing as a city, and when we talk about flooding, it's good to know that before when we're building, and so
There are
thank
some
you.
areas within the city limits that were recently went effective in 2022, and those areas are not going to be modified. But when you go into the map, it'll show you the area that was that's outside of this new study because it was just recently done.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll be taking a look at that, and thank you so much for speaking.
Do you want the handouts or cards or anything? Yes. I've got some more, so we want. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move to special presentation D, Municipal Clerk's Week publication.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Once again, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. City Manager, Madam City Attorney, Diane Amendola, Assistant Deputy City Clerk. The Office of the Municipal Clerk is among the oldest public servants and a vital part of local government worldwide. The office provides the professional link between a city and its citizens, as well as other agencies of government and commerce. To be mindful of neutrality, impartiality, service, and professional character of the municipal clerk and the office of the municipal clerk. The city joins the National Proclamation of May 4th, 2025 through May 10th, 2025 as Municipal Clerks Week. The recommended action is for Mayor Welch to read the Municipal Clerks Week proclamation.
The proclamation. Is this okay? The proclamation. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public service, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever minded of their neutrality, I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry, neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the municipal clerks serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerks through participating in education programs, seminars, workshops, in the annual meeting of their state, Provincial, county, and international professional organization. Whereas it is more fitting that we recognize the accomplishment of the office of the multiple clerks. Now, therefore, I, Walter Welch, Mayor of the City of Alachua, representing the city and the city commissioner, hereby recognize May 4th, 2025 through May 10th, 2025 as municipal clerk week and further extend appreciation to the municipal clerk, the staff of the clerk office, and the municipal clerks for their vital service they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they represent. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 19th day of May 2025.
Mr. Mayor, congratulations to our municipal clerks.
We highly appreciate you all. We'll move on. Stop the Bleed Day.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. DeRose and Ms. Rush. I'm Tara Malone, Human Resources Director. The item this evening is the Stop the Bleed Day proclamation. Stop the Bleed is a national public health campaign aimed at saving lives through training on how to stop traumatic bleeding. It is observed each year on the Thursday of Emergency Medical Services Week. This year, Stop the Bleed Day will be observed on May 22nd, 2025. I just want to share with you briefly, I'm joined here to my left is Mr. Wes Barrett, our safety specialist. He has been instrumental in the city's trauma training. This was actually an initiative spearheaded by our city manager, Mr. DeRosa, following some very unfortunate situations that have happened in public view, mass shootings and whatnot. So it was one of those things we thought it was more important to be armed with the knowledge and the skills, and both have been provided. We've also worked in conjunction with the Alachua Police Department's training division, and we host this on an annual basis and then also catch up with our new hires on a quarterly basis. So the recommended action this evening is for the mayor to read the proclamation declaring May 22nd, 2025 as Stop the Bleed Day. And I'll also give Wes the mic for just a moment if he'd like to add anything.
Members of the dais, thank you. Just again, another thank you to Chief Sandusky, Lieutenant Narwhal, and Sergeant Smith are our experts, if you will, in teaching this to the city staff. Mike, thank you so much for supporting this. Thank you for participating. You've actually been through the education, if you will. We hope we never have to use what we learn, but in the event that something did come up, we have over 120 of our employees that have been through this education. So it's a definite benefit to us within the city. It's something that you can take with you outside of the workplace in the event that you needed it. So again, for all of your support, thank you.
Thank you. Now I will read.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to, I didn't know about this program until you guys hit it or said it here, and I think that's a great program. I'm a certified wilderness first responder with Solo, and the amount of stories you hear about getting the training and using it where you least expect it. It may not be at work. It may be you're walking and someone gets hit by a car, or you're out in the woods, or you're, God forbid, something, right? And just having that basic knowledge, it can do wonders. And I'm so glad you guys, the city, has implemented this program. And it's so successful. And thank you, Mike, for doing this.
So let me add to that, Commissioner Fletcher. So it started out as active shooter, it went to active violence. Now it's active assailants. The state has been changing the verbiage, if you will, but we started with that. Out of that program, our city manager came back and said, hey, if we're going to train and teach people the proper method of this run, hide, fight, and what to do, we understand out of that most people that do die or do pass do that from bleeding and not necessarily the actual wound. So out of that came what we consider trauma training. So we brought the APD team back, and we took all the city staff through how to stop major bleeding. kind of behind that, we said, hey, if we're going to teach them how to stop that type of bleeding, we need to provide the tools. So through our city manager's direction, we put trauma kits in all of our major buildings. And we have also provided the majority of our city vehicles with trauma kits as well. So our staff have the actual tools to use in the event that something did occur. Cool.
Again, amazing to hear. I love that.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. So with new employees, would they have an opportunity to take the training?
Yes, ma'am. We try to, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, we do try to reconcile that ideally on a quarterly basis. We have had some that have come in and left within that term. So I think we actually just had, was it a couple of months back? We had one of ours. So we'll be capturing again after July 1, the next batch.
Last question. Would we be eligible to participate?
I don't see why not. Actually, that not to speak out of turn, but that was one of the things we've been discussing through even it came up with we didn't find out about the wellness event that happened up at Legacy until a little bit further, but that was one of the things that we discussed about bringing to that event as well to kind of share with the community.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Thank you. Now we'll read the proclamation of Stop the Bleed. And it reads, whereas Stop the Bleed is a national public health campaign launched at a White House ceremony in 2015, and whereas its goal is to save lives by training people across the country how to stop traumatic bleeding, and whereas excess bleeding is the leading cause of death for those under the age of 40, and whereas the campaign is a public and private partnership led by the U.S. Department of Defense and supported by a number of organizations, including the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Stop the Bleed Coalition, the American Red Cross, the American College Surgeon, and the American College of Emergency Physical, and American Heart Associates. And whereas the campaign is based on the lessons of Department of Defense learned in Afghanistan and Iraq on the best place to treat trauma injury involving severe blood loss, and whereas each year the Thursday of Emergency Medical Service, EMS Week, is proclaimed Stop the Bleed Day by the campaign to engage the public to hear more about how to become empowered to save life. Now, therefore, I, Walter Welch, Mayor of the City of Alachua, representing the city in the City Commission, do hereby proclaim May the 22nd, 2025 as Stop the Blood Day. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 19th day of May, 2025. F, Medical Health Awareness Month.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. DeRosa, Ms. Rush, Tara Malone, Human Resources Director again. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration recognizes May as Mental Health Awareness Month to promote an increased awareness about the crucial role mental health plays in our overall health and well-being. I'd just like to add again another initiative that the city holds for its employees. You may or may not be aware, we actually have 2 EAP, which are employee assistance programs, available at no cost to our employees. One is through our medical coverage provider, which is United Health, and the other is through the Standard, which holds our life and dental insurance. Again, these are programs that we've had in place. We have monitored and referred several employees. They have a number of resources available, not only for mental health, but also folks that are in certain financial situations in need of legal advice, again, at no cost to the employee. And I want to say the mental wellness, they get, I think, a referral out in 2 free sessions. So it's very important. And again, no cost to our employees, but certainly a vital resource for all of them. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from that too. So I think that's important to be noted. Recommended action this evening is for the mayor to read the proclamation declaring May as Mental Health Awareness Month 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. Proclamation for mental health. Whereas Mental Health Awareness Month was established in 1949 to increase awareness of the importance of mental health and wellness in America's lives, and to celebrate recovery from mental illness, and whereas the Substance Abuse of Mental Health Service Administration has recognized Mental Health Awareness Month every May to increase awareness about the vital role mental health plays in our overall health and well-being. And whereas with early and effective intervention, those individuals whose mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas as each businesses, school, government agencies, healthcare providers, organizations, and citizens should share the burden of mental health problems and have a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention's effort. Now, therefore, I, Walter Welch, Mayor of the City of Alachua, represent the city and the City Commission, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month 2025. Look around, look within. And witness, therefore, I have here unto set my hand this 19th day of May 2025. Thank you all. Now, is there any comments from the citizen on subject not on the agenda? Please limit yourself to 3 minutes.
It's getting late, thank you. I had someone in the audience suggest pizzas maybe for next meeting. Rudy Rothstein here, thank you. With coaching, I started, City High Springs offered for all coaches through the fire department as CPR training. And it's that's as hard as it is to process some of those training things and active shooter violence, that type of stuff. It's so important. There's some crazies in this world, and I really applaud the city manager for putting forth that idea and following through with that. It's a wonderful thing, to protect our own. And just thank you for that. I really, really think that's an awesome training, and hopefully we never have to use it. Thank you.
I apologize. Public hearing and ordinance. Presentation to ordinance 25-08.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading of ordinance 25-08, an ordinance of the City of Alachua, Florida, extending the corporate limits of the City of Alachua, Florida to include certain lands lying contiguous to the existing corporate limits of the city, tax parcel 04015-000-000, providing that all existing laws, ordinances, rules, and regulations shall apply in said area, providing that the property, land, inhabitants are subject to existing indebtedness and liable for taxes, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance 25-08 of the City of Alachua by title only.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Madam City Attorney, Mr. City Manager. Carson J. Crockett, planner with the City of Alachua, Planning and Community Development Department. My resume is on file in the Office of the Deputy City Clerk. The item before you is application number PA 25-0003, also known as the Livingston Farms Voluntary Annexation. This item is a request by EDA Consultants Incorporated on behalf of the property owner, Livingston Farms, LLC, for a voluntary annexation of an approximately 222.35 acre subject property into the municipal city limits of the City of Alachua, Florida. The subject property is generally located at 10602 Northwest 143rd Street, or just southwest of the crossing of Interstate 75 and County Road 241. Currently, the subject property has an Alachua County future land use designation of agriculture/rural and a zoning designation of agricultural A, again in the county. Here we have an overview of the subject property in the black and white hatched border. The current municipal boundary shares the property boundary of the subject property on the north here and on the west here. For reference, Interstate 75 is running diagonally across the map frame, but note that the subject property does not directly front Interstate 75. There is another property between it and 75. Running north-south here is County Road 241. For reference, we have Red Oak Estates and Alachua Highlands. And then here's that subject property again, this time with the proposed and amended municipal boundary, excuse me. The current and existing municipal boundary is the gray shading with the red outline, which tracks approximately here. And the proposal would be to amend it to include the orange portion. So it extended out to run approximately here. Now, one thing I do want to note is that County Road 241, which resides here, is not part of this annexation, and it would remain accessible into the unincorporated county. Chapter 171.044 Florida Statutes establishes the procedures for voluntary annexation. Notice was provided via certified mail to the Alachua County Board of County Commissioners on April 17, 2025, not fewer than 10 days prior to publishing or posting the required public notices. Notice was subsequently published at least once each week for 2 consecutive weeks on May 1, 2025 and May 8, 2025 in a newspaper of general circulation, as required by statute. Chapter 171.044 of Florida statutes also establishes the standards for which areas to be annexed via a voluntary annexation must be found compliant. Requirement 1 is that the area to be annexed must be contiguous to the existing municipal boundary. As we've just seen, the municipal boundary is contiguous to the subject property on 2 sides, the north and west. Requirement 2 is that the area to be annexed must be reasonably compact. The subject property has been reviewed against the statutory definition for compactness in Chapter 171.031 and has been found to be reasonably compact. And finally, requirement 3 is that the area to be annexed must not create an enclave. And as demonstrated by those maps shown in this presentation, this annexation would not result in the creation of an enclave, as again, 241 would remain in the unincorporated county. Rather, I'll actually go back to the map. What this annexation would actually do is we have an existing pocket of unincorporated county here. This annexation would reduce the existing pocket with the eventual hope that we'd have a straight line here. And then we can remove this finger from unincorporated as well. Staff recommends that the City Commission approve Ordinance 2508 upon first reading and schedule second and final reading of Ordinance 2508 for June 9th, 2025. At this time, I'm available to answer any questions the Commission may have. The applicant and agent on behalf of the property owner is also present and has their own presentation as well.
Is there any question?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to see the applicant's presentation before I ask any questions.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Clay Swager, land planner with EDA Consultants. Good evening. I'll give a very brief presentation as your planner did a wonderful job of going through the requirements and the criteria. We're here representing a property owner that would like to join the city of Alachua and bring their property into the city via a voluntary annexation. As Carson mentioned, this is approximately 222 acres. It's sort of in the southwest part of town. This exhibit shows you the city limits of Alachua in gray, and the property that is being proposed for annexation is outlined in blue. This is an aerial photo showing the location of the property, similar to the exhibit that you saw just a few moments ago. This property gains vehicular access to the east from 143rd Street. And this is a very similar exhibit, just zoomed in a little bit so you can see the city limits of Alachua, which bound the property on the north and the west side. So your city's comprehensive plan has several policies that determine how you evaluate annexations. Essentially, those main requirements are that you need to determine that you are in compliance with Chapter 171 of Florida statutes. The statutes do indicate that properties should be compact. They should be contiguous, meaning adjacent to the city limits, and that they do not create an enclave, which means that you create lands that are surrounded on all 4 sides of unincorporated area. And so your staff findings and our report indicate that we do not violate any of those criteria. Also, the city's comprehensive plan indicates that we need to coordinate with the county on public service delivery. And our coordination with the county staff indicated that they did not determine any issues with public service delivery with this property joining the city. Fire rescue is provided by the county through your agreement with the county. You're not in the required county solid waste area, so the city and their provider would provide solid waste to anyone who might need it on this property. The transportation is via county road, which is northwest 143rd Street, and utilities, potential future connections to water and sewer in someday in the future could be provided by the city of Alachua with proper coordination. Just in summary, we do think that this annexation is consistent with the Florida statutes and those comprehensive plan policies I just very briefly mentioned to you. And that the county staff did not raise any issues with the annexation. We always start with them to determine if they would have any concerns with an annexation to try to move forward the intergovernmental coordination, which is in both city and county comp plans. And your staff is recommending approval. So with that, I'll conclude. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them tonight. Thank you.
There be no questions.
Mr. Mayor, I actually have one question for staff, if that's all right. Carson, just for clarification, when you were doing your presentation and you showed the boundary map, basically, and you were pointing that out, and you said something along the lines of I'm not quoting you verbatim because I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said something about would it be to the east? Hopefully removing that finger that was coming out over here. I'm assuming, and tell me if I'm correct, that your intention in that statement was that hopefully, maybe somewhere down the road, that those property owners would want to also voluntary annex in.
Mr. Chair, that's correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that is correct. The city is not undertaking any involuntary annexations at this time.
Thank you.
That was also a thought expressed by the county one day, eventually, through voluntary, hoping to get that in the city.
Thank you, Carson. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is there any more questions?
All right, I guess I'll ask some of these questions. So 103rd, right there on the map, where it shows city municipality, is that? Sorry, let me give you a second. They're just switching back. There we go. That's the one.
Could I have staff's presentation on the screen, please? Thank you. And if you could go to the last slide there, yeah. Any of those last slides, and I'll go from there. Perfect. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
You said 103rd?
Yeah. So 103rd. That's city. Is that correct?
You're going to have to help me because I still need to go to the eye doctor.
It's the little one that's right there. Down. Yeah, right there.
Right
okay.
there? Yes.
So that's city municipal, correct?
That would be a correct statement.
And if we put the other property in, the proposed property, that would be directly across from that, correct?
It would be across, but not adjacent.
So are we saying that public right-of-ways can act as a barrier between municipal property boundary lines?
I think that would be an inaccurate statement. The statute defines enclave as any unincorporated, improved, or developed area that is enclosed within and bounded on all sides by a single municipality, or any unincorporated, improved, or developed area that is enclosed within and bounded by a single municipality and a natural or man-made obstacle that allows the passage of vehicular traffic to that unincorporated area only through the municipality.
Right, and so you would be going through the municipality.
That is an incorrect statement. You would remain on County Road 241 in the county.
So we're relying on the technicality that it's a county road.
No, because we have county roads within the city limits. The county road would remain outside of the city limits. The city limits stop on both sides of the right-of-way.
So why is this different than the other county roads? Why are we putting a space between 103rd and where the other the proposed parcel park is?
Mr. Mayor, this was a voluntary annexation. Therefore, only the subject property that is owned by the applicant can be subject to this voluntary annexation unless they were to go to the county and get them as an additional signatory. And that was not the application. The application is solely for this piece of property, not for the county right-of-way.
Okay, and so if we can continue annexing south of there, we go through the plats underneath that, plats across, and we keep going southwards. Does that end up creating an enclave at that point? Or do we still have to say that 103rd is a county road, no matter how deep that area is within our city boundaries?
Are you speaking of continuing annexation south here?
South right there, and then south along the other side as well.
I mean, we're getting into hypotheticals about applications that aren't in front of you.
Well, I believe it's adding to the basis that the intent of preventing enclaves is that you're not taking one municipal or one jurisdiction and having it buried within another. And it seems for this is that we're relying on declaring that the public right-of-way on CR does not or acts as a barrier. Do we have, I guess, City Attorney, do you have a something that we can say this? Because this is a state statute, and I appreciate the efforts to consulting with the county on this, but state statutes obviously preempt county and municipal. And what I'm seeing right here, it's like right in my face, and I'm just trying to understand how we can declare the county road as an exception.
Mr. Mayor, to clarify, the county road is not acting as a barrier at all. It's acting as access to the existing unincorporated area.
So the road is not a barrier between those two plats, the Clifton plat and the proposed plat.
Can you please, Mr. Mayor, if Commissioner Fletcher could please clarify what he means by barrier?
So if we look on this, right, that's the Clifton property right there, on where 103rd is.
Yes.
There is a road, right between that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the proposed property is on the other side of that road.
Yes.
The state statutes say municipal boundaries. Okay. If the road, okay, is county, are we saying that that is a county road and that is acting as a buffer between two municipal areas?
No, I'm saying that the property lines of both of these properties, the legal description of the property line ends at the right-of-way for the county road. It doesn't extend into the county roadway. That property would remain an unincorporated city or unincorporated county.
So it's county road still. It's public access. It's a public easement,
It is
right?
county access to the rest of their unincorporated pocket there.
Okay, so
without going through the bounds of the municipality, which meets the statutory definitions.
Again, it seems like we're trying to create a technicality here. I'd really like a legal opinion on this. The City Attorney, are you able to provide one? If
I
not,
agree with the interpretation being presented here.
okay, thank you. I'm satisfied.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I move that this commission adopt ordinance 25-08 upon first reading and scheduled after the motion and the second, then we have public discussion. Thank you. I move that this commission adopt ordinance 25-08 upon first reading and schedule the second final reading of ordinance 25-08 for June 9th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Motion. Been moved and seconded. And guess we vote.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chairman, and Commissioners. My name is Susie Wise. I'm an City of Alachua resident. I do have concerns with this. First off, the presentation from the consulting firm actually has some inaccurate information. So it mentioned that the properties directly to the west and to the north have both city water and waste water, and that is not accurate. Those properties are all on wells and have septics. So there is not city utilities in those adjoining properties or adjacent properties. With that, I'd like to know more about what the city will do with this property, because obviously there's going to be some development here, and the goal of the annexation is to get around the 5-acre minimum in the rural agricultural zoning that property already is. And so the point of this is to bring it in so that it can be rezoned, and then we can clear cut the property. We can think about the planning. We can put in one of these big national builders to come in and build all these homes, 222 acres, they could easily put 700 homes on that property. The whole meeting prior to this talked about how wonderful it is to live in Alachua County, how wonderful it is to live in the city of Alachua, because it's not like Orlando and it's not like Miami. And something like this, where we're kind of asking for the annexation so we can get around the county rule to then potentially bring a proposal to this group and to the city managers about development, is to do exactly what we just said that we don't want to do. We don't want the sprawl. We don't want this. Additionally, if the city doesn't currently have their city planners, I don't know how we can move forward with something like this that's going to require significant planning. This is just a very concerning potential development. I mean, these are going to take what we love about this city and this county and basically take it away and ruin it and put in these large, track-built, clean-cut properties. This is a beautiful property. It has lots of trees, lots of wildlife. We live obviously nearby that. The deer, the turkeys, everything that's on that property is at risk by bringing this into the city for the purpose of then changing the zoning and the development. Thank you.
Hi, Mandy Bucci, small business owner here on Main Street. And also, I live off of 143rd. I'm actually in an unincorporated area. And so I would never vote to be incorporated, just so y'all know. And my concerns are the same. If you've driven down that road and you know this property, which I drive every single day coming to work down on Main Street, that you're driving down 241, and right when you get to the I-75 overpass, there's a little access road that goes off to that property. What concerns me is this being switched. Why? Why are they voluntarily wanting to annex this? What is the reason? Because I do not see any good output of this except for planning that's happened years ago, and now it needs to happen, and something new, something corporate, something huge. How are you going to get access to something that big whenever there's just a little feeder road there? Once again, just like she said about the wildlife, whenever down on 143rd at 39th, whenever they cleared the land across from the church, I can't tell you how many livestock I lost because of all of those wildlife animals were displaced and they started coming our way. Whenever things like this happen, I'm sure down the road it's going to be cleared and something is going to be developed. I don't think anyone is thinking about the wildlife and where they're going and what's going to happen to our air quality, which is already degraded. What is going there? Tell us what's going there. Why? What is the reason for this annexation? How can we vote to let them do this, even if it's voluntarily, if we don't know what it's for?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. One of the points I'd like to make is what one of the previous speakers said is that their staff said, somebody said, that the land to the west was on city water and septic or wastewater, and it's been a long night, is on city services, and that's not true. They're on wells and septic. Okay, there are many residents and businesses in the city that are currently on wells and septic. The city needs to provide those services first to the existing residents and businesses before you expand and continue to gobble up land that you will now be legally obligated to provide services to. Okay, Point Hague, the rural cluster of Hague. You guys approved an infrastructure expansion program that goes all the way down, and for Tech City is why you did this, right? And took a $4.5 million loan to contribute or to pay for the expansion of the waste treatment down through Tech City. You stopped just short of Hague. Are you aware that the residents of Hague are on contaminated wells and septic tanks and have been for over 50 years? And you do not take those folks who have been living here into consideration and provide them services. But Tech City, oh, they're like super high tech, and they have infrastructure because the public paid for it. And so now you want to do it again. Why don't you show a map of all the existing enclaves that you have around the city? There's enclaves all over that you've created. Why don't you focus on cleaning those up, provide services to the people who live here? You don't need 200 more acres of farmland. And the resident wants to know what's going to go on there. Well, she pegged it. They're going to come in for a large-scale comp plan amendment and want a rezoning, and they're going to want to develop it and destroy more of the rural character of this community. Stop it. Please, stop growing. You don't need any more land. I didn't get the mail notice, just for the record. They said they mailed out notice. I didn't get it. I'm on the mail-out list. I did not get that. There's always problems with the notification of these ordinances and the legal notices. It's a routine. You go to a neighborhood meeting where people will show up and they're always complaining that they found out from their neighbor, but they didn't get a notice. Vote no on this annexation. We don't need to gobble up more farmland. Preserve the rural character of this community and develop inside the boundaries that you already have. I don't think we can afford it, and the people who already live here deserve to have the services of water and wastewater services. They already are here. Take care of the people that live here. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I am a resident, and we live on the west side of this property. You know, at the beginning of this meeting, we were talking about the roads and 235 and just how congested that is. 241 is the same way. I mean, if you traveled it every day, it's not as bad as 235. You know, progress is coming. Eventually, I get it. But we talk about, I think it was 27 before they're going to do improvements with 235, you know, and that's starting. So, you know, if you come out of this property, you're going to go 94th to 235, or you're going to come in 241. And we all know with the developments on 235, what a freaking mess that's going to be. It's already a mess. Can we do something with infrastructure and planning as far as roads before we, you know, vote to put in a huge complex? And it's going to be. There already is a ton of surveying going on. And when I say a ton, it's not just a small cell. You know, I'm sure it's due diligence for, is that the right word? Okay. You're not doing any? Somebody is. Okay. When I say surveying, east, west, north, south, probably $100,000 worth. And so something's already in the works. And I just ask that you look for infrastructure being in place before we make things any more congested. Thank you for your time.
Sir, could you state your name for the record, just so we got your name?
Tommy Cook.
Thank you.
Hello, Soria Lindberg. I'm wondering, why did the county not want it? I know we sent them certified mail. I don't know how county commissioners work, but do they sit around and open their mail? Like, was there emails? I'm wondering what their response was for not wanting it. Also echoing, what is the intention? I don't know if that's something the representative can speak of. And I bring this up because it's a concern that, speaking of Tomoka Hills, they did the golf plan. It went up. It's fine. Then they came with the comp plan. I'm reading the documents. They were predated before
the golf plan came here. So I'm wondering if there is discussion about what is going on for this. Is there another ordinance in the work or something going on? It's just a concern. Thank you, Commissioner Fletcher, for bringing up those questions about an enclave. Everyone knows by now that I live in an enclave. And thank you, Ms. Robbins, for bringing up I am not on city water. I am not on city solid waste. I don't even get city roads. We live there. We're happy. We like it. But for a new place to get stuff, and then my neighborhood has been there 70 years. That neighborhood has been around even before. The pipes are from 1956. So it's been a long time. I went through the concurrency list that the city provided, and I just went exactly through the ones that you had concurrency for water. I think we're right at the max for water that you're comfortable for water use. There's 1,188 homes planned that are not made yet. 1,100, and this is my math. Again, I don't work here. I'm not elected. And I get Zillow alerts from when I was moving of new construction homes every week. Price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. It comes off the market. It comes on the market. So you have Fletcher Trace, Briarwood for other developments, and we don't even know if people are going to live there. And now there's land that could change. I know we're in a capitalist society. You got land, you want to sell it to make money, but does it make sense for this city? Can the county figure it out? It just doesn't make sense if it's going to turn into something really huge. And again, in the enclave, I did not go to school for city planning. It just looks concerning for someone that lives in one too. So just echoing everyone else that it smells a little funny because we know things come and we chop it down and it turns into stuff. Is it hospitals, neighborhoods? It probably won't be low-income housing to help the people that need it. So again, why does the county not want it? And is there anything that can help us know what the intention is?
Good evening, Brian Bisher. Sorry to make this meeting go so long. It creates an enclave. Okay. I'm not sure you can draw the line thin enough on that west side of 143rd or 140th or whatever it is in order to show, right, that they don't adjoin. So technically they do. I mean, so you are going to create an enclave in there. To me, it's against state statute. And really, voting yes for this would be opening the city up to some litigation. I know some issues were brought up in terms of what's the future use of it. I've actually seen this property marketed on, seen it on Zillow as being marketed, and just over $4 million, which, being an investor, to me, that says, oh, we're priced for something big. And so I looked at the ad, and it says that it's possible commercial and sale pending. So this is something that's going forward. You're going to create an enclave. You're going to end up with a headache. In the statement about no county objection, I looked through the packet. I didn't see any response from the county within staff's presentation. So I'm not sure how we found the no county objection on that. So I encourage you to vote no.
Good evening, all. Maybe we should have got the pizzas, huh? So, I look at this and I know there's a road there, but it's a thin sliver on that. And I happen to partner with somebody who owns some land on the other side of the interstate there. And it's something my grandfather invested in years ago, and the thought was, this is going to be a big exchange on the interstate, right? And now we're getting to that moment. We really are. There's 200 acres there, plus how many homes, how many commercial, what's going to go there. We have a lot of land in our city. We do. We have a lot of agricultural land that is very quickly changing to residential, commercial, and we're just in the line of our LDRs changing to increased densities. It's very telling to hear that the property is already being advertised for sale, for commercial use. You know, I guess anybody can put anything on Zillow, I guess, but I mean, I look there, I see enclaves. I see a triangle. That's an enclave. I see once you put that there, that's going to create that finger. And you know, I really enjoy Carson, but I feel that he's advocating for more land annexed into our, assuming there'd be more land annexed into our city by saying we want to have a straight line there. And I don't know. I was told that city planning is an art, and we have to really, it's not a science, it's an art. And we have to really look at the stroke of the brush of where we are making those lines. And I just love to see our city infill and fix what we have before we take on bigger projects. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sharon Himmons, and greetings to all. I live in Red Oaks, right next to this property. I moved there because it was in the city and it's 5-acre minimum. This looks like to me a trick to get this land into the city so then they can immediately rezone it. You look at any property in our area that is farmland, and that's exactly, as soon as you see us for sale sign up, the next thing that happens is they rezone it to massive housing. And I don't think we need it. I don't think, and everything I've heard, you all have a lot on your plates to fix before you add more land. And it sounds like to me, they want it, and you're just going to grant it without any thought about it, without any planning, without any questions about what they're going to do with it. And this has me greatly concerned that you all are not thinking about what the consequences of this are for the people who already live here and what the impact it's going to be on traffic, on your resources, and on the people that live adjacent to that, especially when they're advertising it as commercial. And it's in the middle of developments that are all 5-acre minimum, and then you're going to put in something that's massive housing. Know what you're approving before you do so. Know what they're planning. We know that developers, their plan is to get you to approve it and then change it to whatever they want after you've already annexed it. Know what you're doing.
Mr. Mayor, I guess I got another question for the city attorney. I know you said that it does not count as an enclave because the county road itself does not cross through the city's municipal boundaries. What is the basis of that decision? Is there a legal case or a legal opinion we can refer to for this instance?
I'm going to let Mr. Crocker go through exactly what he said.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'm not an attorney by any means. I don't know any of the legal precedent. I mean, I can only speak to what the statute says. Is that what you're requesting of me?
That is exactly.
So the statute provides a basis that as long as county infrastructure, vehicles, services, utilities can get to that unincorporated area without crossing through the city boundary, that it would not create an enclave. That is the less complex basis of that.
Okay, so we're back to saying that the land, but the public right-of-way and the road acts as county land.
Because it is, Mr. Mayor.
And so if you were to go further, right, say 441, is that state land? And if you can access 441, right, it's not considered within the city. If you, can you pull up the city boundaries? Because do we have like one with the gray? There we go. Okay, so I'm assuming those white pockets. Can you go back? Yep. Those white pockets are those the enclaves?
So some of these white pockets. This is the official zoning atlas of the city of Alachua. So roadways are not zoned property. So some of these white lines are within the city limits, but not enclaves. So I don't know if this is the best representation of that for your example.
Okay, because
I can go back a slide that has the parcel lines, but it's going to be a similar situation, Mr. Mayor.
Again, to me, this I'm having a hard time believing that just because the road is considered county, it's not considered city.
Well,
because again, we can keep annexing down that road, right? Because once that goes there, we can argue, well, it's contiguous, it's compact, right? And it doesn't create an enclave, and we can keep building down, but in the end result, the area right there gets further buried into the city.
Well, Mr. Mayor, what I would say to that is this is the current municipal boundary. These two lines, they're kind of faint. Those outline the state right-of-way of I-75. If we go back a slide, you can kind of see where that lines up there. And then I'll go back forward so we can look at those lines. At the point that it exits the red line in the gray area, it's still state right-of-way. It's state land, but it is outside the city boundary. We are not proposing including the county's right-of-way in the annexation. And what I would say to future hypothetical annexations, which again is really beyond the course of this item, an extension of a property here could arguably not be reasonably compact with the compactness definition in state statute, as it would create an extend a finger. Right here, we're proposing, based off of the voluntary annexation application, to close what is an existing pocket here, as much as the voluntary annexation allows us to.
Right. Just one of your comments, hypothetical beyond the purpose of this meeting. This is a legislative, is that correct?
That is true that it's legislative,
Okay.
except for the fact that we have to, when you're looking at an application, you have to look at it based on this is what it is, not what something could possibly do down the line.
Okay. So maybe that's my newness to the commission, is because usually when I think about decisions, I try to look at what's the future impacts on this. So I guess we'll carry on with the motion.
Madam, Mr. Mayor, I do have some responses to some of the concerns. I do want to note, and it was stated in the agenda packet, but I failed to mention it in my staff presentation, this property would retain its county zoning and land use designation until someone were to submit an application for rezoning or land use change, or the city commission can initiate one under the land development regulations if you don't want to wait for that. But that is not typically the precedent. So in that regards, as this land currently sits, once it's annexed, it cannot do anything else other than what it currently can do until it comes back before you. And at that point, you'll be able to weigh in on what that land use looks like, what that housing looks like, what that zoning looks like. I'll leave it up to the applicant to discuss any potential future plans. That was not a part of this application. In terms of minimum lot size requirements, the agricultural designation in the city of Alachua has the same 5-acre minimum lot size as the county agriculture designation. But again, they can't do any of that until they come back and rezone it to a city designation, which could be city agriculture. I would note that mailed notice is not required to the required list of registered persons for the city for an annexation. This item is not covered by the land development regulations. It is covered by the comprehensive plan and state statute. And state statute only requires mailed notice to the county commission by certified mail, which was done, as well as the county manager by certified mail, which is not a requirement of statute, but we do that to ensure that a copy makes it there. We did receive return receipts. However, the county did not send any response from those mailings. That said, staff did double check EDA's follow-up with principal planner at the county growth management office, Ben Chumley, via phone to verify his responses, and staff did verify those responses. They did not take any particular exception to this annexation. Regarding concurrency isn't reviewed at this stage, but even if it was, I want to point out that all the new homes coming in, those have reserved concurrency already accounted for. Anything additional would need to have reserved concurrency as well. As of this time, no other applications or meetings have occurred related to this property since date of this application. And I do want to keep in mind that we can't even take an application for this property currently other than voluntary annexation because it's not subject to our jurisdiction at this time. And then lastly, I really want to hone in that it does not create an enclave. Whether you choose to approve or not is your legislative discretion, but I want you to know as the commission, Mr. Mayor, that it is an approvable application and does meet the minimum statutory requirements. I'll defer to the applicant on any other public comments.
I would like to know from the developer what their plan is, because I see no reason that they need to be annexed. They'd want to be annexed unless the next thing they're going to do is to go to you and want to change the zoning.
And this a move, is there a motion? Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just to clarify, I'm a land planner, I'm not a developer, and I am working on behalf of the property owners. They would like to join the city of Alachua. If they are joined with the city of Alachua, they would have to come forward and propose any land use or zoning that this council sees fit. And there are no plans or proposals at this time for any development. And if there are, and you're annexed, they'll be back before you all. As far as the utility comment, my report said that there were utilities in the area, not that they were immediately adjacent. And someone could come in and propose a development similar to Red Oak, 5-acre lots in ag. So it's total speculation right now to assume that anything's happening. And I don't know why there's a sign that says you can do commercial there. That's not anything near what you can do in the county. And I'm guessing that's probably not what the city would look for either, but I hope that answers some of your questions. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move to amend the motion. Would you prefer me, City Attorney, to read the whole motion and then my amendment to it?
Well, the motion's already been made and seconded, so someone would have to withdraw a motion. I mean, the motion's been made and seconded.
So I'm a little lost here on our procedures.
Well, there's a motion that was made and there's a second, and that is what's sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
So you may want to make another motion, but that does not supplant the motion that's already been made.
All right, thank you.
No more.
Now we'll take a vote. We'll take a vote.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for Commissioner Fletcher. Commissioner Fletcher, I'm the one that made the motion. So therefore, if you want an amendment as part of the motion, procedure would be to request that of the commissioner that made the motion. Now, whether or not the commissioner agrees with that is another story, but that would be how you would go about this.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Williams. What I would like is to, and I'll say it out loud, it's the same thing as the motion here, but I would like upon the formal opinion of attorney specializing in land use law supports there is no issue with Florida statute, chapter 171. That's it. I just want like an official opinion on this in writing, because what I hear is it's not, but I don't hear why it's not. There's no, usually you have like reference, you would refer to like a attorney general's opinion on issues like this or past cases. And I'm just, it's just, you know, or maybe, you know, I'm entirely wrong, but I think we need a formal writing saying that I'm wrong in my thoughts on this.
So I'm clear. So are you suggesting that you're not accepting our city attorney's advice, and you're suggesting that we reach out to an outside attorney and pay them for a second opinion?
Mr. Mayor, if the commissioner would like to remove the discussion of the specification of land use, all I'm asking for is a written thing that says like this is okay, and reasoning as to why, because I cannot in good faith vote for this if I do not clearly understand it.
Then I would think the more logical option, there could be an option for myself to withdraw my motion and make a different motion. This is not my motion. I'm just telling you another option to defer this to the next meeting to allow the city attorney, our own city attorney that we already pay for, to go back and get the information you need and bring this item up then with that information. It doesn't make any sense to me to hire another attorney outside.
And may I be heard? The issue with what is being requested is I sincerely doubt that there is going to be a case on point that is going to describe the situation that you are describing. Okay? Case law is going to be on a very specific set of circumstances. So under these circumstances, when you look at this, you look at the statutes and you look at how this is set, it supports that this is not creating an enclave because there is the county line that is there. Whether or not you like how wide that road is really not the issue here. So, you know, I don't know what you were expecting. There's not a case that is going to address every specific situation that you have somewhere. A lot of times it's the interpretation of the statute being used.
So, Mr. Mayor, City Attorney, my confusion on this is how we can, what's the basis for deriving that the county road itself acts as this barrier between the municipality going through. And before our planner speaks on this, I'm just having, because it's right there. That's what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing here is that we decided not to cross that red line over that road, but we do it all over the place with the county. So that's it. Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Williams, I would be amicable to what you suggested, but this is my thoughts on it. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
And understand the city attorney may not be able to come back with anything. Understood? I mean, you understand that, right? Based on what she just spoke, what she just said.
Mr. Mayor, I am fully aware.
I don't have anything to add. I'm just...
Okay, I mean.
Okay.
It's. So if you're going to withdraw your motion, someone needs to withdraw a second, and then you need to figure out exactly what's being moved.
I'm not going to withdraw my motion. I'm going to leave it as stands.
You had something to say? No. All right, we'll move forward. Number 5. Oh, yeah, we got to take a vote. Let's start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Nay.
Commissioner Ringerson.
Nay.
Commissioner Williamson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
As mayor, I vote. I'm puzzled. Because I don't really know much about this here. I'm going to vote nay.
Thank you, Commission.
Agenda item RFB A RSB Theater Park Project where
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. City Manager, Madam City Attorney, Donna Smith with Finance and Administrative Services Purchasing. You have before you this evening consideration of award for RFB 2025-01-R, which is the Theater Park Project. On February the 6th, 2025, the city solicited formal bids under
RFP 2025-01 from qualified vendors to furnish all the labor, materials, services, expenses, equipment, direct and indirect costs, lump sum price to provide the restoration, enhancement, and preservation of both the functional and aesthetic attributes of Theater Park, which is located at 14900 Main Street here in Alachua. The request for bids required a mandatory maintenance pre-bid meeting, a mandatory pre-bid meeting that was scheduled originally February 13th, 2025 at 9 a.m. here in the James A. Lewis Commission Chamber. There were no participants at the advertised mandatory pre-bid meeting. On February the 27th, 2025, the city re-advertised and solicited formal bids under RFP 2025-01-R. The mandatory pre-bid meeting was held on March the 6th, 2025 at 9 a.m. here in the chambers. There were three contractors that were present at the pre-bid meeting. Contractors were Kia Inc., BBI Construction, and Trimark Construction. The bid closed officially on March the 31st at 3 p.m. The city received one bid in response to RFP 2025-01-R. The bid was received from Trimark Construction Group in the amount of $571,950. Staff recommends awarding the bid to Trimark Construction Group as the qualified responsible bidder and authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with them. The recommended action would be to accept the bid from Trimark Construction Group in the amount of $571,950 and to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Trimark Construction Group to complete the work as needed under the provisions of RFP 2025-01-R.
There was three bidders on this, but only one turned in a bid. Were we able to understand any reasons as to why the other ones did not feel it was appropriate?
As far as the Kia Inc., they informed me that they are a veteran-based small construction company and that they had committed their performance and payment bonds out, the dollar amount in which they could borrow for that purpose. They had used up, so they didn't have the money to actually bid on this particular project. I did not have a response from BBI. My guess would be it was probably on their scale of projects, a smaller project.
Okay, I appreciate you following up because that's really important because these contractors they may see something in a project and the person who does place the bid maybe their eyes are a little too big for this. The other question is the funding on this is coming from our CRA fund. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, and I looked at the plans. It looks beautiful. That's my opinion. It looks beautiful, and I really look forward to seeing it utilized. I believe there were some comments about some music events going on, and I know this will probably be done by November, but I'm really looking forward to that vibrant Main Street nightlife.
Mm-hmm.
Question? Now we hear a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move we accept the bid from Trimark Construction Group in the amount of $571,950 and to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Trimark Construction Group to complete the work as needed under the provisions of RFB 2025-01-R.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Oh, comments, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. I couldn't access the visual project, and I'd like to just suggest that in projects, especially of this size, I mean, this is over $500,000 going for a project, that we have some pictures of it so we can see what we're buying here, what the plans are. I know there's a link to it on the backup material, but I couldn't download it because well, we won't need, could be my skill set, I don't know. But I'm just saying, we have great, we have big screens. Let's see what we're going to get for, $575,000. That's all. I mean, seems like the presentation could have been done better, Mr. Mayor, so we could see what we're going to get. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I do want to note that that in multiple meetings, the renderings that led to this bid were shown at multiple public meetings. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We'll call for a vote. Commissioner Williamson.
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown.
Aye.
And I, Mayor, say aye.
Thank you.
Now we'll have comments. Oh, we're agenda item B, discussion on strategy to increase public engagement and transparency.
Mr. Mayor, my concern is we have two agenda items, two more items, and I believe we have a cutoff time at 11 p.m. Is that correct? And so I'm kind of concerned we won't have enough time to fully have a thoughtful conversation on these two agenda items within the next 13 minutes. So I guess the thing is we can, I would be amicable to deferring this item to the next meeting, just because based off we had a lot of conversations and at our joint where we all pretty much agreed that there's some stuff that we all want to do, and I think setting that time aside where there's more time to talk about this and maybe even like flesh out some of the ideas from the public comment, that would be better for that. So I'd like to move to defer this agenda item to a date certain of
Well, okay, I think you can just withdraw it and submit it again, because this is not something that had to be advertised that you worry about.
Oh, that works with me. I'll withdraw this item.
Mr. Mayor, just to help keep things directed, I think the next item is the item that was added to the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. And I would defer to the Commissioner regarding exactly, I wrote down some notes, but to see exactly what the item is so that it can be discussed and we can make a decision. Would you like me to write down what I wrote? I mean, it was your motion. Okay, I mean, I think what we had said during the conversation in the beginning is exactly what is going to be requested or directed is going to be discussed during this time period. It is my understanding that from the conversations that occurred, it was to further look into the cause, the circumstances surrounding the resignations of Kathy Winburn, Justin Tabor, and Adam Hall. Exactly how you want this to be, how it's going to be the will of this commission to do that is what would be up for discussion.
Thank you, City Attorney. I think we have left this hanging long enough. So I'd like to move that we direct our city attorney to search for 2 or 3 outside attorneys to look into the concern we have about the city planners leaving.
I am happy if that is the will of this commission to do that. I'm going to want to make sure of the parameters. I spent quite a bit of time doing this the last time, and I will bring back what I can find, finding people that have the knowledge of planning, which has a lot to do with, at least from looking at the letter that was submitted, to do with it. But I will bring back what I can find. Again, if that is the will of how the commission would like. What I'd like to do is reword that a little bit so that I have some very specific direction, which would again be to direct the city attorney to seek 2 or 3 attorneys to look into the circumstances surrounding the resignations of Kathy Winburn, Justin Tabor, and Adam Hall from the employment with the city of Alachua. I do want to mention that the city manager has said to me he is concerned. He wants to make sure that most of the people or all of the people in that letter have been consulted and talked to.
Mr. Mayor, if I could clarify, my
Please.
comments had nothing to do with the letter. My comments were whatever investigation or inquiry, however it happens, that all parties that have anything to do with that are included in that inquiry. And also, I would like to make the request, and I appreciate Vice Mayor Brown's recommendation for 2 or more, I'll just say 2 or 3. I know that it was specified that these people would have to have insight into planning, which I'm not against that, but I think it would be if the motion was that, well, one of these third parties would have to have experience with city management. I'm just trying to figure out if there was a third party that's trying to get to the bottom of the reason. I don't see why they would need to have planning experience or city management experience. Just a complete third party that's completely, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Mr. Mayor, I think the direction the city attorney went with on the first round of this was the correct direction. And the reason why is between the time of then and when the letter was released, it was regarding specific development issues, and having a person who is familiar with those issues and the concerns about that, I think, is most beneficial to making sure that we have a full picture of what happened.
Mr. Mayor, if I may also, my goal would be to find somebody outside the immediate area, because that is where there has been a lot more publicity, for lack of a better word, and different comments on different things. I would like to know if I am supposed to give whoever is going to look into this the open letter that was presented to this commission.
Do we even have a second? We're discussing it like it's been second.
Has there been a second?
No.
Do we have a second on the motion?
Commissioner, Vice Commissioner, Vice Mayor. Sorry, it's getting late. The parameters set forth by the city attorney, the clarifications on that. Does the current motion that we're talking about address the city attorney's concerns, or can we have it amended to that?
I'm good with that. With the parameters.
So the parameters are to find 2 or 3 attorneys to look into the circumstances surrounding the resignation of Kathy Winburn, Justin Tabor, and Adam Hall from employment with the city of Alachua.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Call the roll call. Are there any comments from the commission? I'm sorry. It's getting late. Any comments? If there be no comments, then public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. So clarify, are the people you're seeking to have or not necessarily the planning background? I missed that.
It's going to be, it would be a preference, but I'm going to tell you it is also going to be difficult.
Okay, I'm just trying to get understanding because, Mr. Mayor, based on the letter that Mr. Tabor, with the release of the letter, his issues were specific to planning because that's the department he was in, right? So one of the issues was specifically the several incidences, most recently, planning staff met with City Manager DeRosa and Assistant City Manager Rodolfo Valadares, sorry if I hacked that, to discuss the proposed solar facility. In this meeting, planning staff noting that they were in the opinion that the project is not exempt from the requirements of the city's LDRs. So there was this big problem with whether this solar facility was going to have to comply with the city's LDRs. That was part of the problem. The planner said yes. The city manager and now assistant city manager said no. So having planning experience and be able to sort out the legalities of the pressures and what was being asked of the staff members to disregard their professional positions and training is what led to, based on Mr. Tabor's letter, part of what led to what seems like his resignation. So the planning insight and experience to be able to decipher this letter and look at the issues and go, yeah, there's legal issues here. There's a reason why they resigned because this was illegal, what they were asking the staff to do. So I support the motion. I hope you, at least 3 of you will support it so that this issue will not just be continuing to kind of like just float out there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, before I speak, I would request that you waive your rules and procedures to extend the meeting. I believe it's 11 o'clock.
Can I do that in the middle? All right. And I believe I have to set a specific time limit. Is that correct? All right. So I'm going to move that we waive the rules and procedures and extend the meeting by 15 minutes.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Been moved to second. So we'll vote on it. Is there any comments?
James Jim Carrington, citizen of Alachua City. I had something I wanted to say at the end of the meeting. Does this mean I don't get to say it?
Yeah.
I guess simply put, Mr. Mayor, are we going to have citizen comments at the end of the meeting as on the agenda?
There may need to be a second motion for extension of time.
Can I withdraw my motion on this? I'm going to move to extend this, withdraw the procedures and extend this meeting by 30 minutes so we can ensure that we have public comment at the end.
Second.
Now we'll have roll call. Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riggison.
Nay.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shelley Brown.
Aye.
Mayor Walter Welch. Aye.
Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. DeRosa, Ms. Rush, my name is Tara Malone. I apologize. I'm going to have to compose myself for just a moment because I don't think that I truly believe that any action that we take or any belief that we have is based off of information, and our perceptions are based off of information that we have readily available to us. I want to be clear that I hope that this action that's being brought before is coming from a good place, because I do believe that the intent behind it is to try and determine if we were going in a wrong direction and moving forward. My concern is twofold. Number one, I believe that this commission, and I say this with wholehearted respect because I cannot begin to tell you my dedication to this community. I think we are teetering on infringement of operations of the organization, which is under the purview of our city manager. I think that, unbeknownst to you, the ramifications extend beyond what has been brought forward. This action isolates not only one department, but one division and 3 employees of your entire workforce. Less than 3 years ago, we lost, and Mr. Fletcher, I will use your words, excuse me, Commissioner, if you don't mind, the concern that it was a senior management employee as well. Our Recreation and Culture Department lost its director, its assistant director, and its events and coordinator. That is their entire administrative staff for that department. Nothing came out of the board then. Chief, I'm sorry to put you on the plate, but he can speak to this. He's been there nearly as long as I have. Many times we had a mass exodus of an entire shift in the police department. That's a minimum of 3 officers to leave for another agency. Nothing happened then. You know, you're up here saying that you support public safety, and when you've lost an entire shift, nothing comes of it. Again, I want to believe that this is coming from a good place, but, you know, I hear things thrown out about morale. I hear things thrown out about commitment. You want to create a morale problem? Isolate 3 former employees that are more important than your workforce of over 150. Dedication doesn't even begin to say how I feel about this city. I have worked here for nearly 30 years, which is over half of my life. I raised all 3 of my children in this community. They attended public schools in this community. I enforced their civic responsibility, and all 3 served in our military for this country. I firmly believe in our democracy and our process, and that's what I love about it. But what we are doing here hurts a larger majority. And I just don't understand why we are still doing this 3 months later. We are trying to move forward. The police department move forward. Recreation and culture move forward seamlessly. Let us do our jobs, I implore you. And I do apologize for being emotional. I had no intent in coming forward, but now that this is brought up again, I think you need to hear another voice. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Tara, you do not need to apologize for your emotions and your passions for your job and for this city. And I greatly appreciate your words, and I know that that was difficult to do. And I hope that they don't fall on deaf ears.
Brian Bisher, thank you. Thank you for adding this item to your very busy agenda tonight. Sorry it's going so late again. And I appreciate the input from city staff. And so the thing is I think this step is important to the community, either to dispel or confirm the only information available to the public. And that was provided in Justin Tabor's open letter to the City Commission. And in terms of an analogy with the other departments that left, this one's a little bit different because Justin Tabor's letter alludes that there was undue outside influence, and that wasn't the reason why officers have left or Parks and Rec have departed. The importance of this investigation was made more evident to me at a Suwannee River Water Management meeting earlier this month. And at this meeting, the Tara Phoenicia development was applying for an ERP, which is an environmental resource permit. Their representative indicated the city of Alachua had nothing negative to say about the development. So I naturally stood up and rebutted that. And I introduced the letter from the city attorney, David Theriak, from November of 2024, stating the problems that the city had with that overall development, to which they had an opportunity to rebut that. And their rebuttal was that they've been meeting with the city to work it out. However, where is the evidence of that? We don't see anything on the agenda. So has Theriak's office responded to the applicant's attorney, Childers' latest letter? We don't know. And so that leads credence to Justin Tabor's letter. Another reason to investigate is, the city manager and planning staff citing the need to provide deliverables to developers. Not necessarily deliverables to the city, but deliverables to the developers specifically. I believe city manager, you mentioned pushing Tara April onto the agenda. And this was even after the city council Theriak's letter to the developer's attorney. So I think there's substantial evidence to move forward with an investigation. I have it on good authority that all the planners were willing to have exit interviews. I made a public records request because at one of the meetings, Mr. DeRosa stated that 2 were done, but he did say, don't quote me on that. But then Brian Bakari got up and cited that in his argument that there were 2 that were done. But my public records request yielded that 1 verbal and another was declined. And you made your decision not to go forward based on that evidence. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I need to ask the city manager a question, if that would be okay. Mr. City Manager, as of today, please tell me how many new planners or planning director that we've hired and or are in the hopper. Please bring me up to date.
Well, we interviewed several applicants for all positions. We did offer the planning director position. It was accepted, and I believe their start date is in early June. We also interviewed and offered a principal planner position, to which I believe that acceptance came today. So as of today, as of right now, we have a new planning director and a new principal planner that will be coming on board by early June.
Okay, so we're moving forward.
As best we can, yes.
Correct. Thank you.
And again, just so I have my instructions clear, I'm going to try to find, 2 or 3 attorneys. The city manager said he wanted to make sure other people are spoken to. I need to know who the other people are for me to be able to make sure that they're spoken to. I just want to make sure that it's fair and it's doing what the city manager is wanting.
I didn't want anything extraneous. Myself and Assistant City Manager Rodolfo Valadares.
Okay.
The ones that were present at the meetings that were a subject of this purported letter.
Mr. City Manager and, sorry.
Anyone that was a part of those meetings. That's what I want.
I just want to make sure I'm included in that as well.
Absolutely. Carson Crockett, certainly.
Well, and again, that's why I want to make very clear, I want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding something. I do also think that, I think a lot of credibility as to what was going on has been brought up about the letter. I want to know, I want my instructions. Is that something I can give so that is a roadmap of what was going on here? Unless someone tells me I can't, I think that, that is what I'm inclined to do. So that's why I just want to make sure there is no misunderstanding as to my instructions.
Mr. Mayor, certainly this is Commission's decision, but me being a part of this, I have no problem with that letter. In fact, I would suggest that letter be part of it.
Again, I just wanted to make sure of that. And there may be some other people that once this person talks to some people that they're going to want to talk to some other people. We cannot force anyone to talk to anybody, though, just so we all know all of these parameters. I just want to make sure that, that there's an understanding. I think I have an understanding now. And if no one has anything else, if the mayor would like to do a roll call vote.
You have something to say?
Aye. That's.
Yeah, forgive me. We do a roll call. Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
No.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown.
Aye.
And as mayor, I vote aye. Now we will have comments from the citizen on the subject not on the agenda. Please send your comments to 3 minutes.
James Jim Carrington. I hope nobody throws rotten eggs at me, but I didn't mean to keep anybody, but changing the subject completely and knowing that you handle so many delicate issues. Thank you for what you do. Ms. Ringerson, I've heard you earlier, feeling that, saying that, you sometimes feel attacked by speakers or people presenting positions. All of this, we all feel that way. We're all human beings in that sense. So I wanted to say and use my time to let you know that as a member of the Senior Advisory Committee, we had a wonderful trip last week to St. Augustine. And I can tell you the senior citizens of the community that participated in that trip got a free lunch, got some time in St. Augustine, And they were extremely happy with the recreation department and the cultural department and what goes on. And they are very supportive of the commission in looking out not only for the children of the world, not only for the smart people and the wealthy people and the poor people. They're also very happy that you look out after senior people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. Boy, this extending of the meetings brings back memories for me because we used to do that a lot. Not that I liked it, but I feel you. So I'm bringing up this evening, a few months back, I put in a public records request for a video that was constructed by staff during staff time, and it was shown at the holiday party attended by staff, and I put in a public records request for that. And the city attorney was asked about that, and I have a copy of her letter, or her response in email if you haven't seen it, but her understanding is that the film was made by and city employees during work hours, shown at the city's Christmas luncheon, and was held on city property. So it was a public record. So I requested a copy of that. Well, when I received a copy of it, it took a long time to get it. I mean, she issued her letter February 25th. A fair amount of this video was redacted. And so I asked, it was just redacted. So, and there was a statute, an exemption stated, Florida Statute 119.0714, as the reason why the redactions, the blocked out portions of the video, were legal. Well, I looked up that statute, and what's required when someone is redacted out of a public video is to file a employee-specific public records exemption form, right? You have to do that. You can't just randomly redact people out of public, or any information out of a public record. Mr. Mayor, I'm sure the clerk knows that. So I requested all the forms that were completed in order for those people in the film who had been redacted to qualify to be redacted, and no forms existed. So what I'm saying is that I want the complete the video released. There are no exemptions from that are legally allowable for those redacted portions of the video. So I'm asking this commission to direct your city manager, if he doesn't already say he will release it in its entirety, to me and anyone else who's requested this film that was shown at a city function made by city people, paid for by public money. So that's what I'm asking, because it's illegal to just randomly redact public records. It's no different than a document or anything else where it would be redacted. You have to state the exemption in order to legally withhold public information from the public. So these forms weren't filled out by anybody that was redacted. So I'm asking for those public records to be released and the laws per 119 Florida statute to be followed. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the city did fulfill those requirements of that state statute, and the form that is being referred to is not the employer's responsibility. It's a third party's responsibility. I'm not prepared. I don't have that state statute in front of me, but I will certainly discuss that with any of the city commissioners individually. But the city did meet the requirements of that state statute.
City manager, so the requester has to fill out this form to get the video? I'm confused as to the redaction part and not
No,
the
it's
forms.
for the exemption. It's a third party. Would have to, if they are the holder of that record, they have to request the person to fill out that exemption form. That is not the city's responsibility.
City attorney, I'm sort of lost on this.
I haven't seen any of this other stuff. I did exactly one thing when it was mentioned to me by the city manager, and I gave him the information. He wanted to know, is it a public record? I said yes. Whatever has happened since then, I don't have any knowledge of. I haven't seen anything So this is very difficult for me to try to, I haven't looked at the form that's being talked about. So I'm just letting you know that that's where it is. I don't want it right now on the dais.
That's correct.
I'm going to submit it into the record.
That's correct. And upon your counsel, it is a public record. But there are redactions that, per state statute,
No, there are exemptions.
exemptions for redactions. Yes.
What was in this video?
Sorry. Brian Bisher. I had also requested this video, funny enough. And I got the general statute redactions made per statute 119-071, which is very far-reaching and broad. And so there were no specific exceptions stated other than the redactions per that particular statute. So there was no indication, and there are elements in that statute that, of course make sense, right? I mean, it's like if a police officer is involved, or if there's someone that's involved in a shooting or a killing. I mean, those are very specific items within this particular statute. So basically, we received a redacted video. We've heard rumors that it may contain information not favorable to those within the video, but not that would be protected by this particular statute.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Fletcher, if I were you, I would, since this is the kind of the first, it seems like you're hearing about it, I would probably have a meeting with the city manager maybe this week for him to lay everything out for you, and then you can make a better decision about your thoughts on it. Especially because it just seems like you don't have a lot of information. So to make a motion on anything on this, I don't think would be appropriate.
I don't think I made a motion.
I know you didn't make a motion.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I think we have the city attorney just double check that, coordinate with the city manager on that. Did any of the other commissioners see this video then? If I'm being asked about this.
I have.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I attended the city employee holiday luncheon where it was shown. That's how I saw it. There was no secrets. There was no coordination. There was nothing hidden or unethical about me seeing it.
We'll move to commissioner comments and discussion. I mean, the city manager.
For the sake of time, no comment at this time, Mr. Mayor.
The same, due to the time, no comment.
Commissioners, comments and discussion.
I think I've spoke a lot today, so no comment.
I'll go ahead and just go ahead and comment. Mental Health Month. Great time to talk about that, right? I think it's very important to listen to people. Talked about this before. Ask people questions. Make sure you ask the question and you want to know the answer. Make sure you're in a space that you can talk to them openly. I think mental health is very, very vital for everybody, even the stable. Again, I think training is crucial in every area. We talked about it with some of the things the chief brought up. I think that anytime you can do anything to save a life, you should educate yourself. So I'm also on board, if it's something the commission can be trained on, with the trainings that were brought today. I'd 100% do it, learn from it, and continue to train on it. I'm just going to add the fire station and some of the things that were talked about earlier. For example, the one in Tech City, I think, opens doors for other people in the community, moving to the community. For me, it just stands out with a preschool. A kid that close to a fire station, I think is amazing. I'm just going to put that there for myself. I think that is people today, children, parents, they're going to look at those things, right? They're going to want to know where's the best place to put my kid in school. Not saying that, I can't even think of the name of the school, Education Station is any better than any other school. But as a parent in the generation we are in today, parents do look at all of those kind of things for their children. The swamp bots, I'm sorry that I didn't mention that with Jason here. The young man, it took me a little while that came up. I've known that kid probably since he was born until about 7 or 8. He's probably 10 now. And it's amazing for a child to be able to explore, especially Micah. And that's all I have to say. Chief, sorry, keeping us safe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was mentioned about our committee assignments that should have already come before this commission. So I would just request that us commissioners, that we look at the list that was provided to us, so that we can get back to our city manager and let him know which committees we're interested in. That was emailed to us, and it certainly was our fault for not getting it on our May commission meeting agendas. I did have 2 other things that I was going to discuss, and in sake of time, I'm not going to talk about those tonight, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to hold those until the next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Brown.
No comment.
And I have no comments.
Motion to adjourn?
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.